Spoiler
12
mode
minutes.
from right now.
Right now. Okay. What did we all play 12 minutes on? Because I played it on Steam through my PC.
Series X.
I started it on the Series S. It felt okay, clunky because it's just one controller, one movement with the stick, A to grab items, drag items. I then, because I just wanted to feel it on the PC, went upstairs, went to download it on the Games Pass app on the PC, and then I'm going proper tangent, but this is important. I clicked play, and then the game crashed. And I was like, hold on a minute, what's going on here? So I updated my drivers. I disabled my firewall after some research. And then I found this random Reddit post, right? And this guy was like, listen, if you type this massive link into your like search directory on your PC, you will come across these folders. Okay, click this, click another folder, and then go into a notepad. And he goes, it will say something along the lines of like full screen mode, comma 1 dot comma or something daft like that. Because if you change that 1 to a 0, save it, the game will play. And I was like, this is never going to work in a million years. And fuck me sideways, it worked. PC gamers, man. Why?
The robot shit. Like, what was going on here? What'd you do? Hack the mainframe? Like, what the
Hack
fuck?
mode.
So I was like, so that I'd come off the Xbox. I put let's say 7 o'clock, 12 minutes till 9 o'clock. Sorted the kids out, put the kids to bed, give them a little kiss. Good night, Daddy's gonna have a good time in 12 minutes. I'd already downloaded it on PC, so nothing could possibly go wrong. I started playing 12 minutes again at 11 o'clock. 2 hours I was trying to figure this bullshit out. But on the PC, the game's so much better. Point and click. It's a mouse game.
Real quick, because I want to get into the game. I had no problem with the controls, really. It didn't bother me.
It was the fact that I had the option, and when I went over and to choose that option, I was like, "Oh, this is so much better." Which is fine.
The controls didn't bother me at all.
No, but I just feel it's better on the mouse. That's all I will say.
I'm sure it was made with it for sure.
Yeah, it's the first time I played a game on mouse and keyboard since like Roller Coaster Tycoon in like 2002 or some shit. Yeah, let's get into the game though. Overall, I'll start. I enjoyed the game overall for the most part. I liked the story enough. I was intrigued throughout the whole playthrough. I definitely wanted to continue and figure out what was going on more with. You get into the wife's background stories, or she's not your wife yet, girlfriend, whatever. And then that
She's
starts.
your wife.
Her.
Is she your wife at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, whatever. And then you start getting into that backstory, and then the cop's backstory, and your own backstory, and then how that all blends together. I was intrigued by it all. It's just this game frustrated the fucking shit out of me.
Very aimless.
Yeah, I thought some of the puzzles and like the things you put together made absolutely no sense. Some of them were really smart, like the how to get the cop to turn on the light switch after
that was probably the best part.
Putting her to bed. Yeah, I thought that was a good, well thought out puzzle. But then some of them were just like dumb, especially the ending ones. The one with the shirt, the shirt, the flower. I guess that kind of makes sense because you read the flower name on there, but I don't understand why you had like a 5-second window to give the cop the shirt.
Yeah,
and the
very
game.
Quick.
Yeah, it's super quick. Go ahead, Sims.
There's apparently 2 ways of doing it.
What's the other way?
Well, Greg Miller, kind of funny. He said that.
How's that where he's from?
He had him on the floor, in the usual scenario, and then he showed him that way.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool because it's right there. You could grab the shirt in the drawer, or the clothes in the drawer, and just show it to him. Interesting. Okay.
Sims, what are your overall thoughts with the game?
I genuinely like all the way up to the end, and the ending I have problems with because I wasn't sure if I'd ended the game. And there's like so many different endings. There's endings with and without credits, so you can leave that game any which way you want to and take it the way you want to take it. So I love the game every minute right up until the end because I was so frustrated because I was continuing to play the game and I was like, what do I have to do? And it was like, and then I googled it because I didn't want to Google anything. Like, don't get me wrong, you guys are giving me like 1-word tips. Like Connor was like light switch. I was like light switch. I think that Daniel said, you said something or other. something about Skyrim. No,
I said something about the phone.
Yeah, and I'd figured that out already. It was so hard to communicate with each other because we all wanted to like not spoil it.
You didn't want me to spoil anything for you because we had already beaten the game.
So it was like this game drove me like insane because I was like thinking about it like when I woke up, like when I was like pottering around the house, driving, thinking. There was a part where like I needed the woman to talk to the man, and I just couldn't figure out how. And I was like, well, I've already drugged you once, and then he's gone in there, and then done the switch. So I was like, well, why not I just sit down and have a word with this girl? I was like, listen, this is happening. He kind of like investigates this room. So if you just play like dead on the bed, every time I do it, he goes and gets electrocuted, and then we can talk to him together and convince him to fuck off. And then I spoke to Connor about my idea, and he was like, "No, that is not an option. Like, there's no way for you for her to play dead. Like, there's no way." And I was like, "But that
was one thing that bothered me is like, why couldn't you with that? Because that when you said that to me, I remember that like, oh, that would make so much fucking sense if I just told her everything that's going on right away, and we just plan this all out together inside the time limit. But you couldn't. Continue.
I was just over and analyzing everything. Of like, but like. I'd figured out everything by myself. This game made me feel like fucking Einstein. The fact that within 20 minutes, I'd figured out where the stopwatch was. Like I was like, I for some reason just hid in the closet, closed the door, and then just watched this scene play out. And I was like, I'm fucking clever, right? I'm fucking Steve's got a fucking nugget. And I was like, yes. And then I figured out the next situation. I was stuck at that point because I tried to figure out the light switch. Big up to Connor, and then it was
Dahlia. Yeah.
Dahlia. And I remember opening the drawer and I'm looking at the baby girl going, Dahlia, fuck's sake. Like, oh, and then, going.
You kind of get, if you let the very first loop go.
Yeah, I do.
It really hints at a lot of stuff.
It gives you everything you need. I let the first loop completely go.
So that's what I would recommend to anybody first playing this game. Play that first loop and do nothing. Accept exactly what it wants you to do. Talk to her about the dessert. Sit down, eat. Let everything unfold. Let him break in and all that. Like, just let it play, and then start figuring it out. Because there's a lot that they hint at.
You find out about his mother's. You find out about his mom. You find out that she's pregnant. Yeah, like. How did you? I want to go through each run like really quickly. Like, so I'll start with me. So I hid in a closet, found out what's going on. I obviously electrocuted him. Went for his stuff. Got some information about his the nanny. Got about her. She like come back to finish the job, and then I took his phone, and then I was like, I wrote down the numbers. Like, wrote down numbers on a piece of paper, and then
took a picture of it.
You don't have to.
Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah, but you didn't.
Phone number for the daughter I had to. I was like, I don't know.
Really? Because you just go to the phone. It saves it.
It saves it.
Did it?
But obviously, in the moment, you're like, I'll fucking write that down. I want that now. And then obviously restarted the loop, and then he rang the daughter. She put the phone down on me straight away. Spoke to the wife, told her everything. Rang the insurance company, waited on the phone for a good 12 minutes.
I didn't get that.
What insurance company?
I didn't get the insurance number. I guess you get it from the cop.
It's in the phone. It's from the cop. Yeah. It's in the phone because if you read the messages, the text messages in the phone.
Oh, then you get the number. Yeah, because
obviously
I didn't get that number.
Obviously the messages in the phone were saying, we missed a payment for the treatment. Obviously his daughter's talking to you. She's texting.
Yeah, see, I got the daughter's number. That's all I needed. Yeah. He explains the cancer stuff later.
But yeah, I never got the information that the daughter was sick until later.
Yeah, me neither.
You're not thorough enough.
Real quick, Daniel, what were your overall thoughts?
I think it's a good game. I have a lot of problems, especially playing so many loop games this year. I think that this game could have been way shorter and tighter, maybe even more linear, and I think would have made it better. cut a lot of the aimlessness out. I think the performances were awesome. We didn't talk about that. The big standout was Daisy Ridley. She's amazing in this game.
If you didn't tell me Daisy Ridley was in this, I would have never known.
Yeah. James McAvoy is also great. You hear him all the time, obviously. Willem Dafoe, he really just kind of plays Willem Dafoe, but I love Willem Dafoe, so he's also really good.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. I really liked it. But it's not like high on my list. It was definitely the most disappointed I've been with a game this year because I was really excited for it, and it's just not as good as I wanted it to be.
I think they could have cut out a bit of the it just kind of got repetitive when I was in the same conversation because you want to get back to the one point that you're thinking of that like, oh, maybe this will change things.
That's where they could have cut a lot out right there.
Yeah, and then I'm doing fucking 10 minutes of this playthrough just to get to one part. And
or have a kill switch.
I
think having a kill switch would have helped. Just
I don't mean you were talking about this, but this game could have learned a lot from the Forgotten City.
100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that the Forgotten City did with that loop mechanic that made it much quicker and a lot less repetitive that this game could have learned from.
Have me be able to start that loop immediately. Mm-hmm. Restart it. Like I think that would help this game in particular.
You just leave the apartment, can't you?
I wanted to give me a button. Boom, restart.
I love this game. Like, it's top 3 for me. Like I had such a good time with it. Like that, I wasn't bothered. I was frustrated, when maybe something didn't go. Like there was like a stupid I took the photo off the fridge because I thought, I could just give it him, and he doesn't want anything to do with you 90% of the time, so he would just give you a good clap and you back to the beginning. I'm like, why have I got to leave it on the fridge? Like let's just so obviously do it again. But I was never bored. I was always always thinking, always ticking over, like proper using the old noggin, and when I figured it out I just felt amazing about myself. I was like, you know what, Steve, you did a good job today. And I was like, you know what, I did. But when I got to the end and all of it came out, the confession, and I'd figured out who I was and I'd figured out who they were.
Yeah, let's talk about the end. That's really what I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about the end.
Can we tie this in? Let's just do the story overall is kind of what I want to do. Is
go ahead.
I did really enjoy the story for the most part. There was that last week Friday where I think Sims, you were playing it while I was at work the whole time, and I only played a couple hours the night before, and we were just texting back and forth about it because I was so intrigued and into it at that point. But the story overall was really good. I thought, a little. I think I tweeted out it was like a M. Night Shyamalan movie, and it really was. A lot of twists there. Great initial premise, and I think that carries throughout the whole thing. That initial premise is so intriguing when you first die and stuff. I wish I never saw a trailer for this game before I played it. Then you would have got that shock value still.
Yeah. Did she kill her father? And who is this cop?
I thought the main character's emotions were kind of weird. He wasn't freaking out enough for me. If you were in that situation, I'd be freaking the fuck out.
I think that's just how the game is. I think if this game had a bigger budget and all that,
there was a couple at the end where he got on his knees at one point and was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck do I do?" And that's how you felt as the player.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What the fuck is going on?
Especially when you think you're like, I did it, and then you didn't.
It's exactly. There was that one part. There was one moment where I think I'd put it in the chat, and this is exactly what I thought. I did everything fucking right. No, why? I miss it so much. Honest to God.
So let's just talk about the ending.
Yeah, and then you get to the ending overall. The whole. I feel like all the stories kind of interweave and come together between the main character, the cop, and your wife. And the wife had a really interesting backstory throughout the whole time. I think that's the thing that really makes you keep coming back. But then it all comes together, and you find out you're the wife's stepbrother. Oh, okay. So this is an incest game.
They share the same dad.
They have the same father. His mother is the nanny, and then her mother was the one that went crazy.
Okay, so they are related.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. The ending, it's weird.
What do you think happened?
What do I think happened?
What do you think that this game is actually? Because I can tell you what I think.
I mean, from the final ending, which is the one I looked up, there was 5 different endings or whatever the fuck, and I got like 2 of them, the alone one and then some other one. And then I looked up like the very end one, and it seems like the brother is being hypnotized by the dad to not love the sister anymore.
So the vibe, I'll just go ahead and real quick and say what I think it is. So I think that the entire game is all in James McAvoy's head. There is no cop. The cop is the dad. That's why if you get 2 different endings, there's one ending that he has a wig on. It's still Willem Dafoe. And then there's another ending where it's just Willem Dafoe, he's bald. I think that it is the dad trying to convince him to, this isn't love. This is unnatural. This is your stepsister. And then I think the real ending, I'll put in quotes, is the hypnotizing, is like, he's just like, just help me. I want to forget it. And you get hypnotized to
it's when you click the book, isn't it?
Yes, it's the book and the quote. And then I think you just have to let him tell the quote to the dad. That's what I think.
The problem I have is like, the only problem I really had with the game was like, all of a sudden he's like, oh, I remember now. For some reason I didn't know. Is that what? Because he was hypnotized? Like, you think it's all in his head. Like, don't you, like, it's all in his head. Like, but all of a sudden, like, he sees the Dahlia and just freaks out. And obviously he's like, blah, blah, blah. He finds out. He did the scenario. And then all of a sudden he remembers. What made him forget? Like, how can you forget?
I just assume it's maybe memory suppression, stuff like that.
Suppress stuff like that, mate. When you're banging your sister, you're banging your sister. You don't forget that shit. All right. Okay.
So speaking from experience here. All right.
Listen. I don't live in America, all right? You guys, you do whatever you want to do with your sisters, all right? I'm telling you now. All right? You fucking people from Alabama.
I'm not from Alabama.
No one here is from Alabama.
I know. I'm not going to attack you guys, am I?
Okay. Please
the problem, that was the one thing that really goes, like, how do you forget something like that? And if he's being, like, hypnotized, it's just a weird M. Night Shyamalan ding dong, like, ending. I know it sounds sick, but I'd like, why tell her? Like, just like, I'm a typical man. I just want a quiet life. I'm just like, let's just go with this. Like, just let's give him the fucking the thing. Because there's a way, isn't there?
The thing is like the dad would never just be okay with that.
Yeah, but he's dead now, and he's dead at this point.
No,
he's alive.
I don't think that any of that is real.
Yeah, if it's not actually real,
the pregnancy isn't real. Like, that's what I think that none of that is real.
So
that is just like
it's literally the beginning of the so-so relationship. Dad's found out about it.
Yeah, or maybe not to who knows how far, but there is a relationship.
And he sat down in this weird ass room. And he's like, listen, you can't.
He's like having a talk.
So there's either 2 ways about it. Either the dad dies and this whole relationship spirals out of control. Cop turns up, kills everyone, 12 loops. Or there's, all right, let's hypnotize me and let's sort this shit out because I'm a bit freaky dicky. I like the ending where, like, you tell the daughter there's another option where the daughter tells him, no, don't bother, it's not worth it, I don't want you to pay for my treatment this way, and he's like, oh, okay, Bumblebee, and then turns off and never comes in. And then you can tell the wife that you know everything. Oh, I'm not bothered. Are you bothered? No. Well, let's live happily ever after. You go into the room together and you have a bit you just have a nice little cuddle, and then the game just ends. Again, it goes back to the loop. I like that ending. I know it sounds like a bit freaky. It's just,
that's a good ending.
Or I had obviously there's the confession ending where, like, he literally, like, he gets the watch. He's like, oh, thank you so much, and it's like, and she's like, don't you worry about it. You go on, don't you worry. Let's have a good time. And then you two embrace and like, is it over? And it's like, yeah, done. And that was the ending. But imagine me after that trying to think, well, why am I still fucking looping? And then the fact that you have to look at the clock for more than a minute. Who's looking at that clock for more than a minute?
That was the dumbest one. To get that ending is like, I did not understand that one at all.
Because like when even if I'd have done that on my own, because I had to Google at that point, I wouldn't have felt clever. I'd have turned on the game. At this point, I turned on the game. And I was like, stupid. That makes none of it makes sense, but that doesn't make sense. Like, unless you accidentally leave it on the phone, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I click it, you know, Natalie shouts me for a coffee or whatever, and then I turn around and it's like, why am I in this room? This is weird. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
And then, when you're looking at it, like slowly, you can see it slowly fading. So that's when
But who has the patience? Who has the patience to do that?
Because I'm just trying to figure out the game. So I just saw it starting fade. So then I just let it go.
And then when you're alone and you get the watch, you can move the handles. I didn't even know you could do that. I'd watched all these on YouTube in the end. I like my ending. I like the confession ending. Babe, you know, like he has the watch. His daughter's okay, and we're okay. Like, I like that ending. The game is kind of leads to,
like, my main problem with the game overall is that I never, with most puzzle games, I get that aha moment, you know, like, oh, okay, this is it, and then I feel accomplished. I never felt like that in this game, really. I just felt like I was throwing shit at the wall, seeing what stuck, you know. That's how I kind of felt the whole time, except for the light switch one. You know, I thought that one was smart enough, but yeah, most of the time it was just throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks. Anything else in 12 minutes, guys?
I really enjoyed the game. Yeah.
I think if you like...
Go on, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go on.
I think if you just like old school adventure games, I think check it out.
It is very old school.
Yeah, it reminded me of... I remember as a little boy, I rented a game from Choices Videos.
Ooh.
No bigger than a pumpkin. And I rented Broken Sword. And it was like a point-and-click adventure game on the PS1. And I had such a good time with it. Like, just clicking away, finding out what goes with what, why. I loved... it kind of just, like, reinvigorated my, like, love for, like, these, like, mystery puzzle games where you have to put items together and you know, figure it out. I just really enjoyed it. I had such a good time. And when I finished it, and when I didn't even realise I'd finished it, I was just disappointed. Like, because I wanted more. And, you know, like, hiding in the closet, and then I was like, oh, I figured this out. And then, you know, finding the baby name, figured this out. I just felt clever for a couple of days. And you know what? Doesn't happen a lot at this house, let me tell you.